I'll admit I've been putting this off for a while, but let's go ahead and go in and say hi to the most popular and well-known encounter in this game, the Great Mighty Pooh. But why is he considered the funniest part of this game when it's not this guy?
Alright there, take my bicycle out of here. It's not really bad in there. You just don't want to.
He sounds like if Carl Pilkington were a dung beetle.
It was me and the lads. We're having a cup of tea. And next thing we know, Tez is gone. We couldn't find him. We thought, maybe he's just gone off, you know, like do a bit of shopping or something. Never came back.
Just the way he recapped the story and his accent, the whole thing. I love this guy. I love it.
And he waved over. And that was it. This thing came out of the shite.
Alright, it's time for the real main event. I've thrown the corn into the sacrificial holes, and it's time to actually see him in all his great Pooey glory. People love this fight, and I have to say, it really does nothing for me. His pattern is boring. You just keep moving and the shit he throws at you won't hit you. In fact, at certain points you can just be walking slowly and not get hit. Shit for Brains throws him directly at you. Really, the biggest enemy you have in this fight is your own control on the camera. Conker's so slippery that it's really easy for him to catch a ledge and not be able to recover. Dying here, by the way, restarts the entire encounter. After managing to force feed him toilet paper and flushing him down,
Look what you've done.
it's time to continue downward into another cutscene. A cutscene showing that Barry's been captured by rock dudes. Oh no! But Conker doesn't know about this, so it doesn't really bring much attention to the story. You know, he's just playing Street Fighter. Now we enter some kind of meat grinding facility. I think this is supposed to be some short transitional area, but I have to dwell here to say that I'm really fighting the camera, especially when swimming. Moving side to side also swings the camera left and right. Combined with the complete lack of spatial awareness this game gives me, it's far too easy to end up behind the blade and not be sure why. We climb out of here and trick a couple of guards so we can enter the Laval area, or the prehistoric level, whichever. It doesn't really matter. Soon we'll be leaving this place for somewhere completely disjointed and irrelevant anyway, so sure, why not? Our object here is to get inside this nightclub, because reasons. So we do this in the only way we know how. Go past all of the drunk rock people and find this one passed out behind the rock bouncer. Roll him down the hill, birth a T-Rex, sacrifice it to a snake god, clear up the snake god's sinuses, get a caveman headdress that was just on the body of a passed out caveman, enslave the cavemen, and use them to storm the club. You know, come to think of it, all that's motivating Conker right now is pure fun. He doesn't know his girlfriend is kidnapped and she's probably the last thing on his mind right now anyway. Has Conker just decided halfway through his journey home to just party like there's no tomorrow in this prehistoric world that has apparently been hidden under a mountain of shit that could sing opera? Yes. Yes, he has. Oh no, Barry's been captured. First though, I want to point out that I don't mind this club area at all. It's a really neat little place. Conker himself even has a custom idol animation where he will dance to the beat. You can even get shit-faced and piss on people. It really is a nice little break to be interesting and even a little funny. Good level. At least until you have to get drunk and piss on people. See, you have to piss on a guy at the right trajectory and timing to push him with your stream into a hole. The biggest issue being that if you don't aim in the right way, you can push him all over the place, only giving him the opportunity to walk up to you immune to your stream and hit you in the face. After a few games of P-Golf, Barry is free and Conker and I agree that it's time to get the fuck out of here.
Hey, Barry! Barry! Where's she gone?
Things you need to see.
Okay! What? Oh, hey. Hey, Barry, how you doing? Me.
Do you know this tea leaf?
Yeah, like I'd associate with a caveman.
Holy fucking shit, Barry. I can't believe you'd actually fucking say that. Can you not fucking see my face? Can you not see who I fucking am? I'm just wearing the fucking hat. What the fuck is wrong with you, you stupid piece of shit?
We have one job, to bomb the cavemen.
And if you don't pull it off, I suggest you leave town.
We don't have a lot of time. He's given us a lit bomb. We need to bomb it on the other side of the snake god, where we are immediately mugged and forced to get on jet-powered surfboards to get all our cash back. If the controls were bad before, you have no idea. The surfboard, much like swimming, swings the camera to and fro, back and forth at such a strange angle and velocity, it's hard to see how close the insta-kill walls are. Get your prayers into RNGesus, because more often than not, what will kill you is the dinosaur who can step on you, just get in your way, and otherwise instantly kill you over and over again. And if you think that Rare would surely put something like that on a set pattern, it's so random that I'm not even 100% sure that there's only one dinosaur. While it is fun to imagine Conker reminiscing about hanging out in Timbers Island with his old friends back when he was a kid, it isn't fun to die 10 to 12 times in the same challenge. As soon as you get your cash back, you crash your lava board into some kind of gladiator's arena. I've stopped trying to figure out where Conker's going and why at this point, honestly. Of course, since you're here, they stick a dinosaur on you. The twist here is that you can hypnotize it to do your bidding, and this section also is pretty alright. Now the big boss caveman is here. It isn't entirely sure how you're supposed to damage him, but at a certain point during his attack animation, again, I'm not entirely sure why, you hit him in the crotch, at which point you can go for the goriest butt joke in video gaming. It's 3 bites to the ass and then he's done. Of course, it's revealed that he has a small penis, and then our old friend the caveman runs away crying as Conker decides to go and see if he can manage to cheat on the berry with a giant woman. Classic. Things don't work out, but that's okay. We've beaten the level. Back to the hub. After earning a quick $400 from the queen bee for yet another chase sequence, we're gonna go ahead and head up the middle mountain to the lighthouse. Going up the mountain, you notice immediately that there's a giant worm that will try to kill you from underground. What you're supposed to do is crawl up the hill and just hope that you're not close enough to be grabbed up by it. After finally making it to the top, we find this guy. If you've beaten enough levels, you can ride down him and kill all the worms. It's just way too easy to make a mistake here. Trying to correct yourself back onto the path is an easy way to end up plummeting down the hill into the waiting jaws of another one of these bullshit worms. Well, after riding down the hill on the barrel, Conker ends up knocking himself out until nightfall.
Well, it's been out for some time. It's night.
And there's a path open in the water. And now it's blocked. A little further down, you see the catfish from earlier. They have 9 lives after all. And we meet Greg again. It's kind of nice seeing him again. His entrance is pretty funny and at the very least clever. It's good to see him acting out on one of his jokes from before.
Again. I got your number, mate.
After pulling a switch and opening a door, Greg finally takes notice of Conker, and after letting him know how very much he hates undead things, he gives us a gun to go kill undead things. How very nice of you, Greg. Of course, Greg should have told us something else. That this game is one of the worst third-person shooters that have ever been created. I'm at a loss of how you could get this wrong. And this is from the same company that gave us GoldenEye. The most efficient way to play this mode is to hold R and use the C buttons to move while using the control stick to look around. Unfortunately, left and right on the control stick also cause Conker to move left and right. And the real kicker is you have to kill 12 of these things before you can even go ahead. Fortunately, you can snipe people with the shotgun, so if you just get enough distance, you'll be okay. See, here we meet Count Cock. Here we meet the guy who counts cocks. Here we meet Count Conkula. He invites us into his home for dinner. Initially, it was Conker himself who was on the menu, but as it turns out, Conker is Conkula's grandson.
I think you are my great grandson, Conker.
With a few greats added. And he's been taken under control by Conkula to throw invading villagers into a grinder so Gramps can feed. The controls for flying are similar to swimming, but it seems much more responsive. At the very least, it's more fun to control. The object is to shit on passersby, swoop down, and grab them up and take them to Count Conkula. That's about it really, but it turns out it can be a lot of fun flying around the mansion's grounds and grabbing people out of the library, hedge maze, and front hall. After 9 villagers have been fed to Conkula, he falls in himself, returning Conker back to normal. However, all of the villagers, for some reason or another, have been turned into zombies. Now we've got to explore the house and find 3 keys locking the front door. Even this isn't too bad, honestly. The zombies are back in full force, but there are very few of them that you actually need to engage, and the ones you do can be killed from a distance. Just watch out for the bats. Unlocking the door allows you to ride down the wormhole another barrel into the first area. How about that? Let's go ahead and get out of here. Oh, it's war again, apparently.
Your country needs you now, boys.
Let's go into that weird barricade place, yeah? When we get there, a plane crashes right in front of Conker and a general of some sort.
Dang, boy! He sure is lucky bastards to survive that atrocious atrocity!
General needs us to clear the way, so after swimming with an electric eel and leading a couple of unfortunate goblins to their deaths,
I seem to have this thing attached to my back. I can't see what it is.
we get knocked out and delivered straight to a recreation of D-Day.
Get me the heck out of here!
Dodging gunfire and making your way up the beach, you find yourself at the door of the compound and find out the name of the enemy, the Teddies.
Teddies. I hate these guys.
Equipping dual machine guns, you storm the facility alone. This section sucks. They got the same problem as the first zombie area, except now the zombies are fast and have guns. Conker moves slower than he has all game with his guns out, and shooting while not aiming is pretty useless. Using R to aim down the sights and the C buttons to move again is much worse when you're also dodging bayonets and gunfire. Pushing through their forces in the hallways, medbay, and apparently there's a high-powered turret room? We end up with a poor squirrel tied up and ready for the firing squad. Good thing he's wearing some sort of super armor. Let's save him. Seems he's one of Conker's friends from the bar.
How you doing?
He returns the favor by being cover for us, and we end up at a tank section.
It's a Class 22 as well. I haven't got one of them yet.
But he got one. Hey, where you going?
We need to jump over, bring down the bridge, and shoot down the legs of the turret. The tank's controls can be a little unpredictable and finicky, but it's more or less fine. Pretty unsuitable for a precision-based high-tension boss battle though. Conker is tricked by the obviously evil little girl and has to shoot her off the hand of a giant bear monster in the tank. After her defeat, she activates a countdown that leads Conker through a pretty intense laser maze featuring everyone's favorite, mandatory damage. The end of the whole thing ends with a shootout featuring the most powerful but hardest to actually use weapon in the game, the bazooka. When you have it out, your movement speed is slowed even more, and you swing it out so slowly the Teddies can easily shoot you down while you're trying to situate this giant weapon on them. At least they explode. Outside the facility is even more infuriating. The only weapon you have to defend yourself is the bazooka. However, they also have them, and it's one of their fastest weapons. If you stand out in the open and try to shoot them, you're toast immediately, but your only cover is these metal jacks that don't even protect you from the enemies that spawn surrounding you. Running isn't a particularly helpful strategy either. They just shoot you out of the air half the time, and the fact that there's hills and dips and enough enemies to make the N64 itself start to slow down doesn't make running and jumping any easier. I swear I don't think I've game overed here as much as anywhere else in the game. It's a short area, but terrible nonetheless. After a few strangely heartfelt moments with the army guys,
What's the terrible thing, you know?
You're right there. All these fine young men sent off to do the dying. Those bigwigs, those pen pushers, those guys who never ever see a single bullet whiz past their heads. We want to get them down here. Those so-called generals in their big fancy houses, 20 miles behind enemy lines. Who are they to tell us? Who are they indeed? Look at that. What a sight.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
The horror.
we meet up with one of the weasels from the club and Barry.
Me have a little job for you.
Oh, not another one. Look, can I just go home, please?
And we go for one long Matrix reference.
Please place any metallic objects in the tray.
This may not be fair to the initial release of the game, but this is the most dated thing I've ever seen. In an industry kind of obsessed with capturing the moment and feeling of a certain era, this almost feels flat out old.
Well, there you go, materialist.
Well, you can talk. Anyway, where do I start? Got it. Oh, cool. Milena!
At least thanks to Disney and LucasArts, Star Wars references will always and forever be completely topical. So it turns out the Panther King set this whole heist business up in order to trap Conker. Now that PK has what he wants, he orders the weasel to kill Barry.
Barry?
But wait, it turns out the Panther King's German professor put a xenomorph inside him.
Such a beautiful animal.
We open the airlock, sucking out the scientist and both corpses.
Oh shit! What the f? Oh, what the? I didn't put the high boosters on my chair. I knew I should have done that. Oh my God! It's going to spike. Oh, it's a fine shit. It's a bad. No legs and now no life.
Leaving us with just our wits and a giant mech to kill the xenomorph with. It's a lot less cool than it sounds. After throwing it out 3 times, the game locks up, and Conker makes a bid with one of the programmers not to tell anyone about the freeze if he can make a few more Matrix references and get a revenge kill on the alien.
Let's see now.
He cuts the head off the final boss, and the other characters name Conker as the new fabled king.
Up on to throw here.
I should have brought Barry back to life. Oh no.
Forgetting about his dead girlfriend, he sits and mopes with a glass of milk.
Grass is
Long
always
live the
greener.
king.
And you don't really know what it is you have until it's gone. Gone. Gone.
The ending of this game is some of the biggest mood whiplash that's ever been created. What's with this introspective ending about loss and appreciation? You fought a giant shit monster, you bounced on flower tits, you swam in shit, you killed a horde of genetic experiments, you pissed on people in a club. This ending really doesn't make any sense at all with the theme of the game, which up until now I thought was just vulgar bullshit. There's even an after credits sequence where he wanders off drunk into the distance, a bit like the first scene. I can see a lot of great things this game has going for it. Its character animation is absolutely fantastic. It's the only N64 game I can think of that has such complex and subtle character animations that you can actually tell what to do in a boss fight or most general events just by seeing how the characters move. It's also amazing that the entire thing is voice acted. It's pretty heavily compressed, but coupled with good sound design and honestly pretty good music, it hit atmosphere and graphics pretty hard on the head. However, this game has some pretty massive issues. This game has some massive issues, guys. However, this game has massive issues that people seem to gloss over or just full on forget when talking about it. Conker moves like a slippery Buick with no shadow, the weapons are slow and difficult to aim in high pressure situations, the difficulty curve will just vertical wall on you from time to time, and the stuff you're actually doing is vulgar garbage for the sake of it that leads into an emotional ending about loss and the value of life that's completely out of left field in a game that includes a goddamned rape scene.
Oh no, not that. No, anything but that. No, anything but that.
Hey, Adam of Boring Trousers here. First of all, I wanted to apologize. I said that this review was going to take 2 weeks tops. Turns out it took 2 months. Life got in the way, but fortunately, a little bit less of that should be happening. So, there's that. I also wanted to genuinely thank you for actually watching this all the way through. If you're hearing me say this at all, that means the world to me. That just means that you at the very least kept it running until the end and just heard or played at the very least what I worked so hard on. It shouldn't have taken me this long, I know, but again, life got in the way, and I'm really proud of how this turned out. This is a really good project for me, and I'm glad that I actually finally got it done, and I'm glad that you actually watched it. I appreciate it. Again, go ahead and subscribe if you want to hear me ramble about other things. I've got plans to talk about fanime, a few movies and TV series that I want to talk about. So go ahead and subscribe. And if you want to see more by me, I did a stream a long time ago on Corrupted Sims Super Nintendo games. That's right there on the right, and on the left, we here at Boring Trousers, every Discovery Channel Shark Week, we do Cat Week, which I think it's only been about cats twice, but to see the second cat one, you can go ahead and click that. So, once again, thank you so much for watching my trash garbage. My garbage trash. That worked for a while. I hope it was entertaining. And I hope you see why I don't really like that game all that much, even though a lot of people do. So, again, subscribe, and thank you. Peace.